Genocide. It is one of the heaviest words you can use in international relations, and right now, it's at the absolute center of a standoff between two global superpowers. The United States is officially accusing China of committing genocide against the Uyghur people. So, what is the truth behind this incredibly explosive claim?
I mean, look at this. On one side, you have the United States saying flat out, China is committing genocide. And on the other, you have the Chinese government calling these claims outrageous lies. You literally cannot get two more opposite positions.
So how in the world do you make sense of this? Who's right? Well, to find the answer, we have to look past the headlines and really dig into the word itself. Because what genocide means, according to international law, well, it's probably not what you think it means.
Okay, let's start right there with the definition, because understanding this one single word is the absolute key to unpacking this entire controversy.
You know, a lot of people think about it this way, and you'll even see this argument in major publications like The Economist. The logic seems simple, right? The word ends in "side", like homicide, so it must mean killing. And since China, they argue, isn't carrying out mass slaughter, it can't be genocide.
And you can totally see why this view is so common. When we hear the word genocide, our minds immediately jump to the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust or the Rwandan genocide, mass killing on a horrific scale. But in legal terms, that is not the full story. The real authority here, the thing that actually matters in international law, is the 1948 UN Genocide Convention. This is the legal bedrock, signed by 152 nations, that gives us the one official definition. And as you're about to see, its definition is surprisingly broad.
So here they are, the 5 distinct acts that can legally be called genocide. The first one is what we all expect, killing members of the group. But just look at the other 4. Causing serious bodily or mental harm, deliberately creating unlivable conditions to destroy the group, preventing births, and forcibly taking children away from their families. Now here is the most critical part. It doesn't have to be all 5. Just one of these acts, if it's done with the intent to destroy a group, legally counts as genocide.
So if you remember one thing, remember this. Under international law, genocide is about the intent to destroy a group, as a group. Mass murder is one way to do it, but it is not the only way. This concept is the single most important key to this entire explainer.
All right, so with that crucial legal framework locked in our minds, let's turn to what's actually happening in China's Xinjiang region and look at the specific allegations.
First up, just a little context. Xinjiang is this massive autonomous region in China's northwest. The population is a mix, but the largest single group is the Uyghurs. They're a Turkic people, predominantly Muslim, and they make up just under half the population. The next biggest group is the Han Chinese.
Now, tension in this region is nothing new. It goes back for decades. But the current crisis really started to escalate, and escalate dramatically around 2014. That's when the Chinese government rolled out its so-called re-education policies and established this huge network of facilities. Beijing calls them vocational training centers, but pretty much everyone else, former detainees, outside observers, they call them internment camps.
And this brings us right to the core allegations being leveled against Beijing. We're talking about the internment of possibly up to 1 million Uyghurs. We're talking about widespread reports of forced labor, torture, and sexual abuse, the destruction of cultural sites. And then these last 2 are absolutely critical to the legal debate. Claims of forced sterilization and abortions of Uyghur women, and the forcible removal of children from their families.
So now let's connect the dots. How do these allegations actually line up with that official UN definition of genocide we just talked about? This is where the legal argument really clicks into place. The allegations of forced sterilization, well, that maps directly onto Act 4, imposing measures to prevent births. The reports of intense suffering inside the camps, that aligns with Act 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm. And the forcible removal of children, that's a perfect match for Act 5. And listen, this isn't just a political talking point. Independent legal experts are coming to very similar conclusions. A formal opinion from a group of top British lawyers found what they called a very credible case, that China is, in fact, carrying out the crime of genocide, according to the legal definition. So, if the evidence seems to align so clearly with the legal definition, you have to ask, why is there so much hesitation from the rest of the world? It's because in geopolitics, a word like genocide is anything but simple.
So why are so many world leaders holding back? Why the reluctance? Well, this isn't about semantics. It's all about consequences.
It really comes down to three things. First, pure politics. Very few countries want to antagonize a superpower like China. Second, is the incredible gravity of the word itself. Some leaders feel it is such a heavy charge that it shouldn't be used without a massive, years-long investigation. But the third reason, and maybe the most powerful one, is legal obligation.
Remember those 152 countries that signed the UN Convention? They didn't just agree to a definition. They made a legally binding promise to prevent and punish the crime. That means if a country officially declares that a genocide is happening, they are then legally required to act, and that is a massive, massive step to take.
So, let's just quickly recap the crucial points here. First, the legal definition of genocide is way, way broader than just mass killing. Second, many of the specific allegations in Xinjiang seem to align very closely with specific acts in that 1948 UN Convention. And third, the global debate isn't just about the facts. It's hugely complicated by the intense political and legal fallout that comes with using that word.
Which leaves us all with a final, very difficult question to think about. Now that we understand the legal meaning of the word, we have to confront the dilemma when the evidence of what's happening on the ground appears to meet a clear international legal definition. What is the true cost of silence?